In the hive mind of the digital forum that is Reddit, discussions echo from the comment column to the various meeting rooms until they've covered every haunt. Mysteries and legends are among the items discussed in these meetings, and among those there are debates on plausible answers that replace the flare with the comforting word, solved. Number 10. There exists a subreddit that's specifically dedicated to finding unknown places, often with the help of photographs. Where Is This helps users identify the unknown locations that appear hauntingly in forgotten photographs, paintings, or drawings. This subreddit, with thousands of users, has often helped the curious solve their mysteries. Such was the case with Romeo Wolf, a Reddit user who arrived in the room just 2 years ago with a sepia-toned eerie photograph. An ominous-looking, dilapidated building with peeling paint, broken windows, and a collapsing porch was posted on Reddit. Despite its ruinous state, the lawn was oddly maintained. Within 7 comments, the mystery was solved. User Alex Teradov used reverse image searching, finding a similar photo used as a book cover about haunted places. The critical clue was a link to Chad Abramovich's Urban Postmortem WordPress post, saying, quote, weirdness, esoterica, and forsaken places in and around Vermont, which featured this building. The structure was identified as the Cold Spring House, once a bustling hotel for Jewish clientele vacationing from New York in the Catskill Mountains. The image posted by Romeo Wolf was confirmed to be the same as the one used in Abramovich's post, with every element matching the abandoned hotel. User Original March 170 later provided the address of 42 Spruce Street, Elka Park, Vermont, and a new description, a big pile of matchsticks. Street View images from September of 2023 confirmed the Cold Spring House had collapsed into debris, with only remnants like window frames and a large tree remaining. Supporting evidence came from photographer Daryl W. Morin's images, which showed a sign reading Cold Spring, efficiency units, daily, weekly, seasonal. The mystery was solved. Number 9. Further down the hallway, we find the CEO, the superlative, the foremost of subreddits, dedicated to unraveling the mysteries that plague our existence. RBI, the Reddit Bureau of Investigation, is a place where all the mysteries mentioned on the forum come together. No mystery makes it into the subsequent subreddits without at some point coming into view of RBI. One such mystery that found itself in this very room 6 years ago was the whole Welcome 98 enigma. It would later be mentioned on Lost Wave and then on retro battle stations. The mystery found itself on radio-relevant subreddits because at its center was a 30-second long sound of unclear origin. The original poster who brought the question to RBI was Paranoid College App, and their question was, who wrote Welcome 98? This technical mystery was unorthodox and not the usual kind that would be brought to Reddit. Given its nebulous nature, it appeared there nonetheless, and sleuths of all ranks came together to solve it. Welcome 98 was a piece of music that many are familiar with. It was the tune that rang out every time one installed Windows 98. It was the tune that rang out every time someone opened up Windows 98. It starts with a chime like Big Ben, followed by guitar and other instruments, with the chime replaced for the next 30 seconds by the getting ready to run Windows for the first time statement, which dominates the screen. At first, finding the answer to this question may have seemed easy, but the Reddit user found that the tune had absolutely no metadata linked to it, prompting the curious question of who wrote it and where it came from. Several years before writing this post, the Redditor spent quite a long time trying to figure it out for themselves, but just couldn't come to a definitive conclusion. But the tune was just too catchy to ignore, and answers must be had. During their initial search, though, they came up with a handful of information. On a Microsoft developer blog, the Redditor found that a Microsoft customer was asking for the full version of the music that plays when Windows 98 starts for the first time. According to a Microsoft official, there is no extended version as far as they know of. Only 30 seconds of audio were commissioned, so the company had no way of knowing whether the composer sent only 30 seconds of a 5-minute long song or if they recorded only 30 seconds of music to begin with. All Microsoft knows is that they have the rights to that small 30-second window of audio. MSDN subscribers also had no luck in tracking down the creator, and the Redditor's own scouring of the Internet Archives yielded no results. With so many people using Windows 98, many of whom found it catchy, it certainly is strange that no one knows who the composer of this simple musical piece is. As the Reddit community began delving into the case, they would come across something that may have set them on the road to solving the enigma. The clue was another song titled "This Is Your Life" by Dust Brothers. The opening music sounds incredibly similar to that of Welcome 98, leading to speculation that this musical ensemble may have been behind the welcoming tone. But unfortunately, further investigation brought this discovery to a dead end. Instead, the comment section became a process of elimination, where users named composers responsible for the music in other Windows versions, allowing the community to rule them out one by one. Still, this method yielded few answers, leaving the RBI stunned, and the post gained increasing attention as it spread to other subreddits. And just when all hope seemed lost, out of nowhere, the case was solved. Reddit sleuths revisited the whole Dust Brothers discovery again and began looking more into the group's background and connections. The original poster would dive deep into Google before finally yielding one particular document, listed on a Stickit production notes site. The name Dust Brothers immediately drew attention. It was this group that wrote the original soundtrack for Fight Club. Listed among the members of the Dust Brothers was Mike Simpson. After more investigation, the answer finally emerged. Mike was in fact the composer behind Welcome 98. The Redditor emailed the track's author, who responded almost instantly. He explained that he enjoyed the full track, confirming there was more than just the 30 seconds we'd all heard, and that it was likely buried deep within storage somewhere. One day, he may dig it up and let us hear the full version of the snippet that once had the Reddit community in quite a stir. Number 8. One of the most popular Christmas songs of all time is the well-known Carol of the Drum, today known as The Little Drummer Boy, a song written by composer Catherine Davis in 1941. Since its birth, the song has been subject of variation, with its lyrics changing over time and its meaning changing along with them. One of the versions of this catchy tune would end up on one of Reddit's several mystery deciphering rooms. In this case, Coco the Red Cat would bring the reimagined sheet music of The Little Drummer Boy to the subreddit titled Codes. This community is dedicated to codes and ciphers, making them and breaking them. Codes welcomes anything relating to encryption, from cipher cracking challenges to simple data hiding discussions. So how would sheet music fit in with such a description? Well, it turns out Coco the Red Cat noticed something particularly strange about this reimagined piece. Morse code hidden in sheet music, they captioned their post, accompanying it with an image of the sheet music itself. The original poster gave very little context, but it was plain that there was alleged Morse code hidden within this musical piece, and they were asking the community for help solving the mystery. Despite the lack of thorough information, the code-cracking community instantly got to work, trying to decipher the hidden message. It didn't take long for these amateur codebreakers to determine the message, "Flag E noteworthy rhyme." It read, seemingly another reference to musical notes as well as Morse code. A user called Does Not Get Your Jokes expressed that their working out may have been erroneous, or even that the sheet music itself could contain a mistake. Sometime later, though, Coco the Red Cat, who'd received this Little Drummer Boy variation as part of a Capture the Flag challenge from work, confirmed that this was, in fact, the correct answer. It was presumed that the note E referred to in the solution was actually supposed to be A, to read out "flag a noteworthy rhyme." This, according to C.Scott.net, was a clever self-referential, with the flagged notes, which are the eighth notes, creating the rhythm of the coded message itself. Number 7. The Welcome 98 mystery on Reddit's RBI community, while initially unsettling, had a simple explanation. In mid-2022, Reddit user 5water posted an unnerving account of being awakened around 4 a.m. by a faint whispering voice coming from their phone on the nightstand. Initially, they thought they'd forgotten a YouTube video or some sort of Bluetooth connection on. But an hour later, the whispering became louder, but the phone's screen was black. Listening closely, Fivewater realized a 1-minute audio clip was looping, featuring crackling fire and a man with a European accent calmly saying non-creepy phrases like, "Go on and fall asleep," and "You could have some snacks if you like. There's some ranch and marinara." The mention of ranch and marinara seemed odd. Their partner had also heard the audio. After Fivewater's attempts to Google the phrases failed, a commenter named C4Arley3 recognized the marinara and ranch line, identifying the voice as belonging to the TikToker Old Time Hockey. Old Time Hockey, fronted by a man named Fritz, creates soothing ASMR content, including cooking, gaming, and outdoor videos, designed to help listeners sleep. The mystery was solved. Fivewater had inadvertently clicked on a suggested Old Time Hockey YouTube video, while simply attempting to exit the app. Number 6. In 2021, the RBI community found itself faced with another troubling and ominous post. It was the "They're Coming" mystery, an event that left not only the victims, but those who heard of it with an eerie feeling in their chests. The Reddit user who brought attention to an unnerving situation just beginning to unfold was Static Jana. One day that year, Static Jana and some friends of theirs received strange postcards in the mail. The Redditor's postcard was black with bright green lettering. At the top of the page, "They're Coming" offered a threat. Down the side was the number 157-529-17617, with the symbol of a solid circle and a wireframe circle in the center. Right at the bottom of this eerie card was another number, 310-582, this time written horizontally. Someone else who received the same style card, though, had a different symbol and a different number. The symbol this time was a wireframe ellipsoid, with 6 solid circles running vertically down the page, ascending in size. The number 267-502 was written at the bottom. Another postcard had a lattice in the center, with the hexagon and the numbers 267 and 558. There was also one with a prism, and a double-lined circle with the numbers 353-502. The 5th rendition revealed 2 oblong ellipsoids intersecting one another, with a blanked-out part where they meet. The number this time was 310478. The last of the postcards was adorned with a star, a large circle, and a smaller circle, along with the numbers 353 and 558. Static Jana believed that one set of numbers appeared to be a phone number, with an area code linked to Roswell, New Mexico. When the friends tried to phone the number, though, they were met with 30 seconds of static, clicking, and wind whooshing. Then the line would be disconnected. The noises were the same every single time they called. Despite doing a reverse search and scouring the internet for clues, Static Jana and their friends were at a loss. Eventually, though, after some serious sleuthing, the posters stumbled across a 4chan thread, where people were posting the other variations of the postcards they'd received. So not only was this mystery dominating the Reddit forum, but it was also all over 4chan too, and no one seemed to have any answers. The RBI, though, realized that this wasn't the only Reddit thread about this strange mystery. There were also 2 others discussing the same enigma. On these threads, new information began to pop up, with Static Jana compiling all the data into one image, revealing a hexagonal shape with the numbers at the bottom of each card referring to every other month of the year. More and more postcards kept popping up, and some Reddit users began to think that this was all some sort of elaborate hoax or a marketing scheme. It was suggestions like these that led Static Jana down the path to a solution. In edit number 5, the poster revealed that they were beginning to think this entire mystery might have something to do with video games. Back on Static Jana's thread, a breakthrough came abruptly with edit number 8, revealing the truth behind it all. It was discovered that this was, in fact, a marketing scheme, intended to promote the release of Season 7 of Fortnite. The postcards were an ARG, combining puzzles in the game itself with real-life elements, a tease that only hinted at what's to come. Number 5. Back in 2020, Reddit user Voracious Ape found themselves engulfed in a personal mystery, one that left their family in a state of fear. The user had recently heard from their mother that something strange had been happening. She'd been receiving several phone calls for several months from an unknown caller, but when she answered, she was often met with silence. Eventually, the calls became so frequent that she could no longer keep quiet and revealed the strange events to her child. Voracious Ape, upon learning of the anonymous stalker-type calls, brought the mystery to the subreddit that solves all things, RBI. The user explained that for the past few months, their mother was receiving the calls from the same number over and over again, with the earliest recorded call on the 21st of December, 2019. The calls didn't always go answered and were frequently missed. The user's mother received repeated, unsettling, silent phone calls, spaced a few weeks apart, from a number that once muffled a woman's voice. Searching the number online revealed several local names and addresses, leading Voracious Ape to fear a stalker. When Voracious Ape called the number, they got only an ominous tone, beep, and then silence. The Reddit community, RBI, theorized about spoofing, but the repetitive calls and local connections of the number complicated this. Another user, Sissy Spaciac, reported a similar experience. Silence interrupted by a recognizable sound, a passing motorcycle. A phone hacker traced Sissy Spaciac's number to a security phone box at their building's entrance. Voracious Ape investigated this plausible theory, and Sissy Spaciac was correct. A mysterious number was linked to the apartment complex's security phone box, used for gate entry. This explained the inability to call back and the muffled voices. Voracious Ape and their mother confirmed the link by dialing the mother's number from the box, solving the mystery thanks to Reddit. Number 4. From the depths of the unknown, Reddit user, Yat is True, would pull out another peculiar website, a mystery that would make the list of the unexplained alongside the well-known WebDriver torso enigma and Hell.com. Yat is True brought their discovery to the RBI community, and another mystery internet legend was born. The user explained that they'd been internet crawling in search of old websites that had long been forgotten, or unseen ones that were yet to be discovered. This, they explained, was sort of a hobby for them. The curiosity, though, led the user to a strange website that left them with an eerie feeling. Initially, they'd been looking at a website called Cthulhu.org, but they mistyped the URL and were redirected to Cthulhu.com. The .org was a site that's no longer operational, but was the online home for the Cthulhu for President parody campaign, which began in 1997 and ran for at least a decade. Instead of arriving at this domain, though, Yat is True would instead be met with a locked website that gave them an eerie, dark feeling. The user believed that something twisted may be lurking behind the login page, something sinister, and something potentially cult-related. Several attempts were made to access the website, but the Redditor had no luck. Each password takes the entrant to another section of the Cthulhu.com website, with the URL including the password entered in the login bar. Yat is True even tried using the Internet Archive to look up some previous states of this website, and they discovered some email addresses, but the emails did not work. They also came across a link to a second website that has no relation to Cthulhu.com. References seemingly linked to this site included dyslexigods.com, a non-existent URL, and biblical references such as I am a dog, which appears in 1 Samuel 17:43. The RBI sleuths would soon discover that Cthulhu.com was linked to another internet enigma, Mortis.com, a mysterious website that gained public attention through 4chan. Mortis.com was a puzzling site that was heavily protected by a password. It was active from 1997 to 2013 and attracted so much attention that the FBI got involved. It turned out that this particular website was linked to an individual named Thomas Ling, who had several others linked to his name as well. These were allegedly all shut down. The link between these two websites was the similarities they shared, specifically the login feature that seemed to be uncrackable. The obsessive quest for answers continued, with user Some Dude from Hell uncovering a great deal of information through some serious sleuthing. He discovered that the mysterious URL appears on a Fox Wiki site under the profile name Confer Carl. From there, he was led to another URL through the Wayback Machine that mentioned the name Carl and Cthulhu. Some dude from hell also discovered a comment on another platform with an email address ending in the mysterious website's URL. Yad is True followed the link and updated the post, explaining that they'd messaged the individual whose email address ends with the mysterious site, and they're waiting for a response. As they waited for answers about this strange locked site, the Reddit user stumbled across another part of the website, which was also mentioned by other users in the comments. The extra section was cthulhu.com/stats, and it too was locked by another username and password. The next update is what sent the mystery right back to the beginning, following a response from the individual he'd messaged earlier in the investigation. The answer was, "No, the Ancient Ones have not given me an email." The message implied that he knew the site. For the Reddit user, it was furthering their suspicions that Cthulhu.com was related to cult activity. Commenters began suggesting that the poster try brute forcing the page name and examining the JavaScript itself to unlock the secrets the site may hold. Another Reddit user, UnaSB, would do just that. This Redditor discovered that the website was hosted on a DreamHost server with several other websites. While brute forcing directories and files, the website kept crashing, prompting the user to end the effort. But they concluded that the site was purely experimental. Someone with a little coding knowledge, they explained, may have been trying to create a web design but was a beginner with JavaScript, and UnaSB suggested that the creator stopped at the very beginning, leaving the website unfinished and inaccessible. Supporting this conclusion was the fact that the HTML title index was written in all caps. It was a thorough, in-depth investigation that even sparked discussions on YouTube's Internet Mysteries and similar top 10 lists. The conclusion was that no nefarious or cult-like activity was taking place behind the login page. It was merely an experimental, unfinished project. Number 3. It was on the 6th of October, 2014, that the 432 mystery first came to public attention. An anonymous user posted on 4chan, revealing that they'd received a strange email that left them feeling incredibly unsettled. The email suggested that the recipient had been selected to participate in a cryptic puzzle. "You've been chosen," it read. "You've always been awake. Seek, and it shall be found. Question, and it shall be earned. Enter your cage. This shall be revealed in time. Look, children, search. The story has just begun." The email included a link, too, that led the recipient to a strange website full of puzzles and undecipherable messages. The link, though, could only be reached through the dark web. Naturally, the mystery would leave its origin and make its way to Reddit, where extensive investigation and years of unanswered questions dominated the scene. There was even a whole subreddit dedicated to the 432 mystery, made up of the individual behind the mystery, email recipients, sleuths, and those who were merely curious and eager for an answer. As time went on, the puzzles present in the link were starting to get solved. Reddit users were cracking the codes and sharing the solution across the mystery subreddits, including the one dedicated solely to this mystery. New puzzles would be uploaded and subsequently solved. Then came an abrupt, dark twist that left the entire community on edge. Out of nowhere, the admin of the 432 subreddit began sharing the names, pictures, and personal information of those trying to crack the code. Still, the participants persisted, committing to finding out the truth behind the 432 mystery. Then, another twist was added into the mix. The admin went silent. No more puzzles were added after that day, leaving the community with even more questions. The silence was undoubtedly intriguing and was now the focal point of the discussions until the entire sub was banned and shut down. The community, though, still refused to give up, and the 432 mystery continued to haunt the forgotten rooms of Reddit until one day sleuths finally came up with an answer to this enigma. They believed it was all an elaborate hoax, with the creator trolling the community before getting bored. It was all a project done for effect and entertainment with no real rhyme or reason. The 432 mystery, it seemed, was an ARG-style internet puzzle that once had the internet in quite a stir. Number 2. A Reddit user received an unmarked strange CD with a dog's eye shine on the cover and undecipherable scribbles on the back, along with a police report mentioning the number 14.5 and a link to a website. This sparked a complex mystery investigation by the Reddit community. The URL led to a Dropbox image of a code on a wall, which sleuths quickly solved to find a phone number. Calling it played a Morse code message, which was decoded, leading to a SoundCloud URL with an audio file. Analyzing the audio with a spectrogram revealed hidden GPS coordinates for an abandoned tile factory at 6608 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Redditors noted a small, tree-surrounded area near the factory site that might hold the next clue. During the investigation, an entity called the Creature, allegedly a user in a monster costume, began interacting with the community. Despite this, the search continued. After months, a user named Loves Cigars shared a link to Nequum Sonatus, a noise band. The original poster confirmed the website featured the exact CD and sound file they had received. It was determined that the Tampa-based band had sent the CDs as a publicity stunt and scavenger hunt to promote their new release, which did successfully draw attention. Number 1. What's up with room 322? This was the question Joe Likes Music posted to the Houston subreddit, not realizing he was about to spark one of the biggest mysteries on the internet. Joe explained that he often stays at the Hotel Zaza for business, but during one particular work trip, he found the hotel was overbooked, and he and his colleagues were able to secure a few rooms. While everyone's rooms appeared normal, casual, and Zaza style, one coworker was placed in an unexpected room. Room 322 was like no other. It was Gothic styled, with a dungeon-type closet, a chain holding the bed to the wall, pictures of skulls, a portrait of an old man, a two-way mirror, and it was about a third the size of any of the other rooms. When coworkers inquired about the room at the front desk, they learned that 322 was not supposed to be rented, and the client was subsequently moved. Naturally, Reddit went wild with theories, tying the Hotel Zaza to cult activity. One Reddit user claimed that the number 322 is relevant to Skull and Bones, an alleged secret society at Yale. Another user noted that this number isn't just relevant to Skull and Bones, but also has been integrated into a number of collegiate societies. It was determined that the man in the picture was Jay Como, who attended LSU, the home of the Friars, another secret society that used symbols including skulls and crossbones. Reddit users would later discover that there were only 2 documented cases of people staying in this room, and one of them was Joe's colleague. In both situations, the guests would be immediately transferred out of the room, only further fueling suspicion. To make things even stranger, Joe would later receive a message from a brand new Reddit account offering him $1,000 if he took the post down and never mentioned it again. Rampant speculation ensued, with whispers of the occult, a secret dungeon, and nefarious activities dominating the rumors. The years would drag on with no conclusions presenting themselves. The mystery kept popping up, with no new information to add. That was until one curious Reddit user decided to get even more hands-on with the mystery. They booked room number 322 at the Hotel Zaza, hoping to uncover new clues that could finally end the mystery. Upon arriving at the establishment and inquiring about the room, though, they discovered something quite underwhelming, but one that would put an end to the mystery nonetheless. The room was merely a jail-themed novelty lodge, confirmed by the staff who worked there. Kyra Coots, the hotel's head of e-marketing, explained that they pride themselves on their themed rooms. Number 322 was known as the Hard Times Room, another take on a relevant jail theme. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.